Hi, I'm Kayley Wilson and I'm the owner of Change It Up, and Change It Up provide menopause workplace training. I managed a law firm for 20 years and I changed my career once I hit perimenopause. Now, I didn't even recognise the symptoms at first. I was definitely unprepared. I thought I was too young and clearly I wasn't. And I had psychological symptoms only at first. And having never experienced any poor mental health, I went from being confident and social and feeling capable of living my life to being someone who couldn't drive the car, I couldn't be left alone, quite often I couldn't eat. And because of my experience, I changed my career because I felt there must be so many women out there who are struggling and don't feel like they've got somebody to talk to, or they don't have the right support, they don't have access to resources. And it seemed crazy that women are struggling in work and at home, and they haven't got a community of support to refer to. Every woman's menopause journey is different, and it's really common during menopause for women to struggle with confidence, and that can make it really difficult to speak out. I've got a few examples where a national retailer, a woman had experienced lots of different symptoms, really struggling in the workplace, and luckily they had a helpline. So she rang the helpline, explained her symptoms, and the person on the end of the phone at the end of the conversation said, "Go for a walk." And that was her advice. There's another national company, and a woman took quite a lot of time to build up some confidence to speak to her line manager and explain and express how she was feeling and struggling in work. And at the end of the conversation, her line manager said, and I quote, "Suck it up." And that was it. That was the end of the conversation. And she walked away with no support. I run training groups, and I ran one for men only. And during the training, one of the chaps said that he has a fabulous relationship with this woman. They've always got on really well. One day, she walks into the office, and as soon as she mentioned the word menopause, he didn't know what to do. So he picked up some papers off his desk. He said he stopped all eye contact and he just shuffled these papers until she walked out of the room. So we know these conversations are difficult to have, but if we don't keep pushing forward, we're never going to make a change, and a change is what's needed. How do we have these conversations? Be your own best friend. Pretend your best friend's going into that meeting. How would you want them to be treated? You would want somebody to be respectful to them. You would want someone to be respectful of their health. You would want somebody to listen to what they had to say. You would want someone to put in place the support that they needed in the best way possible. It's also quite a useful tool to beforehand write down your symptoms, write down the experiences you're having and the impact that that's having on your job. Also, any adjustments that you feel are needed. Now, adjustments can be quite tricky to pinpoint in the workplace, but if you put down some suggestions, it's a really great starting point to making change happen. And also, it sounds crazy, but having that little piece of paper in your hand can be quite comforting. If you get a bit flustered, you've got something else to focus on. Now, the conversation may not go as planned. It may not go well the first time, and it may take quite a few attempts until you get the outcome that you're looking for. But the important thing is, just don't give in, because conversations about menopause in the workplace are relatively new. And we must make sure as women together that we're pushing that conversation, which in turn will make it easier for other women. It's also a great idea to find a female mentor, somebody who's going to make you feel understood and somebody who's going to make you feel empowered. And women are so great at empowering one another and are usually really happy to support one another. It may not be obvious where to find a mentor, not necessarily in the workplace, depending on the type of work you do, if it's very male orientated, or there may not be somebody at work that actually suits your personality. So it's important to kind of look at your network, look at your friendship groups and communities, and find that person that can give you what you need and give you the confidence and boost to help you ask for all the support during menopause. So sadly, There is an element of shame attached to menopause, and many women feel that they are being seen as less capable in the workplace, being passed up for promotions because of their age. And it's so important that we as women work together to change what menopause means, to change what aging women means. And as women working together, we can empower one another so that we get the choice to stay in employment for as long as we choose. And it should be a choice. And that's why it's so important to have these difficult conversations and keep those conversations moving forward until menopause is no longer seen as a negative. Let's change the society's view on what menopause means. Let's work together. And remember, we're doing it for a greater purpose. If we don't keep pushing forward with difficult conversations and awkward conversations about menopause, we only make it harder for those women who haven't experienced menopause yet.